And it was here in Chicago that root beer really took off. You see, this was a town that loved its suds, but when Prohibition stopped the serving of alcoholic beverages in the 20s, savvy marketers thought, we'll give them root beer. And Illinois fell in love with the stuff. So much so that today, it's the home of one of the finest root beers ever made in this land.
Cool Mountain sodas may only be 5 years old, but they've already become the favourite of fizz fanatics by recreating a flavour thought gone with the drive-in movie. Just ask Bill Decker, whose lust for the taste of the past forced him to found the company.
What were you doing before you made root beer?
I was an electrician.
Now, that doesn't really lead naturally into root beer consumption.
Absolutely not.
Why?
Well, childhood memories of going into the local pop shops and seeing stacks and stacks of glass bottles of many different flavors.
You mean when you went looking for the root beer, you remembered as a kid, you couldn't find it?
No, you couldn't find it.
But turning out a soft drink for the discerning demands more than nostalgia, because
you can go get the vanilla oil and the honey and the orange oil and the lemon oil, even the sugar and the licorice. But unless you've got what Bill Peters has, which is over a century of family experience in making root beer, you just can't get that flavor. Is this recipe a secret, Bill?
Yes, it is a secret, but there are some basic ingredients that are in all root beers.
What do you start with?
A little bit of wintergreen, because that's the base of the product.
Just a tiny smidgen, 2 drops.
2 drops.
Ooh.
Cinnamon.
That's cinnamon oil.
Also known as cassia. Nutmeg.
All right.
Just even less nutmeg.
You know, you can go crazy, Bill.
Yeah, a little bit of orange oil.
See, now, that's it. That's the magic ingredient.
All root beer has to have a little vanilla. Makes it creamy. Quite a bit of that in there.
Quite a bit. Oh, look, there it is. Now you got the color.
It certainly does give it some color, and some people that don't want a lot of color.
Now it's smelling like root beer.
There you go.
What happens if I taste this?
Don't taste that. It is very strong. That amount right there would probably make about 5 to 10 gallons of finished product.
Holy moly! But how do you turn this beaker of botanicals into the beverage that makes the cola kings cringe?
Now, this is why these guys say their root beer is the best, because they make it by hand in small batches. Small batches means control. Control means exact flavoring. In fact, this is the 9th recipe, the best recipe, and they did it by just changing things a tiny little bit, which in root beer is a lot. That smells like a big glass of root beer.
But our lovely bubbly is not done yet. To give it the heft of yesteryear's clinking classics, our microbrewed marble comes only in glass bottles.
Our freshly bottled brown bubbly friend is only one in a long line of root beers. In fact, there are over 2,000 different flavor combinations that have been created since it was first invented. But we're going to follow this particular root beer to whoever chooses to use it in food flavorings that are going to be fantastic.
And where better to begin our ovation to carbonation than the city that created it, Chicago.